Hey, Mitch! Blasted Mitch, where are you?
The force is strong with this one.
Look at the size of that thing.
What?
Boom, pew, pew.
Hey, Ed, what are you doing?
Oh, hey, Mitch, I'm just playing with my Star Wars toys. They're awesome.
Oh, wow. You know what, Ed? I got an idea. Why don't we do a whole episode all about Star Wars toys? That'd be
Oh,
awesome.
yeah, that'll be great. I love these vintage toys.
I wish they had a Death Star, though.
Yeah, that they did a playset, but I reckon you mean like a whole actual playset?
Yeah, a real one. You know, one that works or something, but
Oh,
I
you
never
mean
came out with them.
no?
What?
Well, I've got this.
Oh, yeah, but Ed, that's not a real Death Star. That thing doesn't do anything.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Let's just start the show. Hi, this is Ed Dollister.
And this is TC14. How are you?
And welcome to another exciting episode of Mitch and Ed's Excellent Adventure. If it's your first time here, thanks so much for joining us. If you are a subscriber or a regular viewer, thanks for coming back. Before we start, though, how can you find out a little bit more about the show, Mitch?
Oh, Ed, it's as easy as bullseying one press from your T16 back home. All you got to do is hit the subscribe button, and you too will join our Rebel Alliance on YouTube as we defeat the evil empire. And if you want to even go further and protect the tapes from the evil Death Star and put them in your R2 unit, hit the notify button right down there, and you will be notified the next time Ed and I decide to go on a diplomatic mission to Alderaan.
That's right.
And even further, you could hit the like button. You know why? Because your mom would want you to do it. So do it for mom.
That's right.
Where are we going today, Ed?
Well, that's all we got time for after that. That's it. You know, we are going back to 1977, and we are going to be looking at, in particular, the Star Wars toy line from 1977 through 1979. So that really exciting time where obviously the film had come out, and after a little bit of a drought, we were flooded with some amazing Star Wars toys. So we're going to go back and have a look at that. And we've got some of our collection out, and we're going to share some of our favorite toys from that time. Now, were you were there in 1977, as was I. Did you get many of the toys?
I did, Ed. And you know what? I have them all here to this day. They're all right here. That's my original early bird Princess Leia. I've got my Luke and everything here. It was a day long remembered. Look at that. There he is. He wasn't telescoping.
Oh, wow.
He had the little thing at the end, but it broke. That's my original Luke. But yes, it was a day long remembered, Ed. I saw Star Wars with my mom 3:00 in the afternoon after I got out of school. I wanted to see it. I had been waiting for months ever since I read about it in Starlog magazine, right here, the preview. And I saw the trailer when I saw another movie called Logan's Run like a year before, and I could not stop thinking about what the Star Wars movie was. I had already bought the comic books. They were out before the movie, so I was kind of trying to figure out what it was good. Good thing the Howard Chaykin art is awful in this comic book because it doesn't do the movie justice. So I was surprised as anything when the movie came out. It looked good. This does not look good. But anyway, the first thing I did is I said, hey, I want more. What can I do? What could I buy? And you know what the big answer was? Nothing. There was nothing, Ed. Nothing. There was record albums. Yep. Yay. But just cool because this is the first time I ever listened to like orchestra music, and I got into that. There was the story of Star Wars.
Yep.
You know, these are all my originals, but sadly, there was no toys to play with. Oh, there was posters. There was a couple puzzles here and there, but they weren't out when it first came out. They started showing up around the fall. Like Star Wars came out in May and June. Well, May 25th, obviously, but it was slowly spreading around the country, and then it played everywhere all summer. But the toys didn't start to show up in stores. I remember the first thing I saw, believe it or not, was a t-shirt. I remember there was a clerk at the cashier at the grocery store, at the A&P grocery store right near my house, and she had on a Han Solo and Chewbacca t-shirt. And I was like, I want that t-shirt. And the only other shirts I had seen before that was the picture of Luke and 3PO, and 3PO is like pointing to the distance. I think he's pointing towards R2. And then there was the Hildebrandt brother poster that you got. That's the other shirt that you saw out there. And then there was a couple Darth Vader lives shirts that almost looked like they were homemade graphics, and these ugly jewelry. And I have some of those somewhere, but there was a Darth Vader head, like a little helmet.
There's a C3PO. I've got the C3PO which had his arms moving. Yep.
Yeah. And yes, the arms moved. And maybe there was an R2D2. It's getting vague now.
I think there was, and there was a Chewbacca, I think, as well.
A Chewbacca head too. Yeah. And that was it. There was no toys. And then I started seeing ads in the back of Starlog from the Don Post people. And they had the helmets. And I've got, back there's an original. That's the Stormtrooper one up there. That's a Don Post original. It's all beat up. I've got a Chewbacca here. That's the yak hairs coming out. You've got a Vader.
Yep, that's the original Vader there.
Yeah, and the only other one that came out was 3PO. I did not have a 3PO. But no, there was no toys, man. There was nothing. It was like, what's going on, man? I want to buy stuff.
Movies from toys weren't really that popular at the time. I mean, you had Mego, which was, I suppose,
King Kong toys. I remember that.
Oh yeah, that from the year prior.
The year before,
Mego was probably the premier toy company when it comes to movie tie-ins, because they did they had the Star Trek series,
the superheroes.
Yep. They also did Planet of the Apes and everything like that, but it wasn't really a big thing. And actually, they went, when 20th Century Fox, or it wasn't really Lucasfilm at that point, or it wasn't as we know it. They had approached
the Star Wars company.
Yeah, that's right. They had approached Mego, and Mego famously passed on the Star Wars line, and then they went to Kenner, who had great success with the $6 Million Man line, which was doing great business, and that was just wrapping up at the end of 76, 77, around that time. And as you said, there was no toys. I think the success of the movie caught everyone by surprise. So what?
Totally.
What could they sell? They could sell a promise of buying an early bird kit where you could get Luke, Leia,
Chewie, and Luke, Leia, Chewie, and R2. Yeah.
Yep. And you got some stickers, and you got a wonderful. You could also get a mail away
display kit
like that.
Yeah, you got a display can. Yes, I remember getting that. That I bought that at Sears, right down the street from where I saw the first T-shirt. Sears department store. It was in the toy section, and this Christmas of 77, I remember saying, I want that. That's what I want for Christmas. And my mom was like, there's nothing in it. It's an empty box. It's like, so big, like 9 inches by about 12 inches. I've got a replica of it upstairs, but yeah, that was it. And that was my Christmas one of my Christmas presents. But you got it. I filled it out, and you're right. I got my little membership card, and I've got some stickers and a little cardboard display stand, like you would put it there. And there was artwork of paint that they didn't even have pictures of the figures. They had like concept art of like what they were going to look like, Chewie and Han and everybody.
That's right. This is all I've got left of my original Luke that I cut out and put on my wall, but you can just see on the back there.
Yep, that's it.
So
and there was 12 figures. There was 12 figures originally.
Yes.
It was Vader, Stormtrooper, Luke, Leia, Han, Jawa, Obi-Wan Kenobi, R2 and 3PO. I'm going to say the Death Squad Commander.
Death Squad Commander, yeah, and they changed.
His name was changed later on. Yeah. And Tusken Raider.
I've got them right.
There's the Tusken Raider.
If I open these up, and they're upside down. Hang on.
Yeah.
I'll do it like that. I'll move that, and you can see them.
There they are. There's my Chewie.
All minty fresh.
Minty fresh. Look at that. Well, mine have been battered and played with, and My 3PO kind of lost his shine. That's my original 3PO.
Oh, yes.
He's not as gold and shiny as he used to be, but he's still shiny. But I'll tell you what. I was getting ready for. Wait a second. Was R5D4 part of the original? 12?
He was the second wave, the part of the 21 back.
There you go. Okay, so I'll tell you. I was getting ready for today's show, and I went looking for my Star Wars figures because I kept these. Like I said, these are my original ones from 1977. These are what, 46 years old now? 45 years old? Something, yeah, 45. Well, 78 they came out, so 44. So technically, and Leia is really nasty. Leia lost her gun. She had that thin gun that she shoots the stun blast at my grandmother's house about an hour after I got these in the mail. I was so excited. I went over there, and my grandmother's couch ate the Princess Leia pistol. I've never found it again. My grandmother's long gone. So's her house. So's that couch. And it took with it the damn Princess Leia pistol. But it was a thin. They must have known, why bother? The kids are going to lose it. But remember, it was like that long barrel, very thin. Of course, Ed still has his.
I do still have mine. In fact,
mine, she held into it, and then bang, it was gone.
Here it is. Right here. Mine with there's Leia with the original cape. I'll see if I can.
Where's the gun? Let's see how small that is. Come on now. Come on. You're going to trust that to a kid? Jeez Louise.
There you go.
Yeah, no, that was gone in minutes. Maybe my grandmother's dog ate it and crapped it out. But
I was just going to say that's the same with like the tips of the lightsaber. There's mine.
Oh, the tips, they snapped right off. Yeah,
I think I chewed mine off, 5 minutes after I got it. So, but anyway.
Well, I'll tell you, my Vader, there's my Obi-Wan still got his.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, that's good.
That's a nice one. But I'll tell you, the Vader, not only did I lose Vader's cape, all right, but I lost the lightsaber.
Yes.
I never had the telescoping lightsaber. As people know what a telescoping lightsaber is, do you have one?
No, because in Australia, we didn't. Look, I'm 99.9% sure we didn't get the early bird kit in Australia because by the time the film had come out and the toys, there was already the supply there. So we never had to worry about that. So we missed the telescoping. I
was going to show you Vader for the baddie in the movie, the big villain. Do you have your Vader there? It's one of the lamest looking figures I think I've ever seen in my life. I'm trying to find it in my stack of toys here, but it's very tall and skinny.
Yeah,
it is taller than the rest.
There he is.
Yeah, but if you take off that black velvet vinyl cape,
it
looks like he's wearing long johns. I remember my friend David said, "Oh my God, why does Darth Vader have long johns on?" Yeah, and he was not very intimidating. And then
they didn't change throughout the run. They didn't.
No, it's always been the same. They never updated it. And then for some reason, Han Solo. This says 1977 on it. I don't know why. It says Hong Kong.
Yeah, they all say.
Look at the Han Solos. This always freaked me out as a kid. One Han's got a head like a pumpkin.
Yeah.
And the other Han looks okay. His head's in proportion.
Yeah.
And they actually refer to this as the big head Han. I mean, that's the thing.
And small head Han. I don't understand.
Why? Can anyone tell me why that is?
Well, they thought the head was too small on Han there. So they got rid of him and did it like that. So same body, but
different head.
Which is odd because that's a better sculpt. The small head Han.
The smaller head. No, absolutely. The small head's the one I prefer. I just never understood why they did it. But Han was the best. And I got to tell you, out of all the figures, out of every single one of them, the best one has to be, and everybody knows this is true, Stormtrooper. This is my favorite. The second favorite, even though it's not one of my favorite characters in the movie, that one. The Tusken Raider. Yep. Because he's got the gaffy stick. I have the gaffy stick still. But there's just something about this guy is so cool. You know what I mean? And I don't know about you, but I only had the one.
I only had the one as well. Yes,
I know. And as a kid, hey, look, all you kids out there, if you grew up and you have armies and army building, God bless you. You had money. Okay. We didn't have money. I remember like begging to get this. This was about $1.97 at the Woolco. There's Kresge's and Woolco. Kresge's became Kmart years later, and Woolco's out of business. It was Woolworths. That was the name of the Woolworths company. They cut it out to Woolco. But I remember buying this in New Haven this was the best damn figure I think I ever saw at that point. And it's got that card back where the two stormtroopers are standing there in the corner there shooting down at Leia and Luke in the swing across. It has them, the reactor shaft. And that it was that shot of the two of the stormtroopers. They look so badass, even though they couldn't hit the side of a barn if they wanted to, but the figures were just amazing though. And I never saw in the wild as a kid the Death Squad commander. I remember looking for that one forever. I don't know if it was short packed or what the story was, or they didn't want to call it the Death Squad commander because of the name was a little tough, but it took me, I was going to say about 25 years later.
There he is.
I bought that in a hobby shop. But did you have yours to begin with?
Yeah. Oh, yes, I got them all. The original 12. When as soon as they came out, I remember that there's a few variations. For example, so with Farm Boy Luke, you can get all because there's different. I mean, there's a lot of other YouTube shows that go into the different countries of origin, and some are made in Taiwan, some are made in Hong Kong, some are made in China.
This is Hong Kong,
different colored. Yeah, they've got different colored pants. The brown hair. Luke is worth the most.
Mine's yellow hair.
Yeah, mine's pretty yellow. There was the with the Jawa. The famous thing is there's the caped Jawa. So the reason
I had two. I had two of those. I had the vinyl cape, and for some reason I couldn't get two stormtroopers, but I had two Jawas. And then the other one I had was the cloth cape.
Yes.
And I remember putting the cloth cape on my finger, and around holiday time, going, "Ooh, I'm the ghost of Christmas past. I'm Ebenezer Scrooge." Like at the end when he'd show up, the death one. And I remember having that and torturing my sister because she was like, "Just shut up and leave me alone." She was like, I think my sister, she's like 9 years older than me. So I'm about 11. She's about 20. She'd come over for Christmas. And I'm like, "Ooh, I'm the ghost of Christmas future. Ooh." And she took the cape off my finger and threw it away. And that, kids, is what happened to my cloth cape Jawa.
But thanks, luckily, Dad. You've got your vinyl cape Jawa, so you can retire. Where's your vinyl cape?
And look, and you can see where Uncle Mitchie melted the head on the Jawa right there. I was playing with matches. Yeah.
I did the same with my stormtroopers.
Did you? You melted them?
Oh, well, I put the match heads. We had a thing called blue tack, which is, like a sticky thing or whatever it is to put up posters. So you'd put that on the figure. Yeah. I'd put liquid paper over that in the match head so it looks white. And then what I do is I go light it and it'll go and it'll look like the stormtroopers got hit by a blast.
And it melted the plastic?
Yeah.
What were you thinking?
I don't know.
But I'll tell you what. The spaceships were awesome.
Here's the new Star Wars X-Wing fighter and the Star Wars TIE fighter. Spaceships and Luke Skywalker sold separately, batteries not included.
I'll get you this time, Luke. Reactivate X-Wing.
Both have flashing lights and sound.
A hit! There go the solar panels. And Darth Vader got away. The Force is with me. Luke Skywalker wins again.
Kenner's Star Wars X-Wing fighter, TIE fighter, and action figures all sold separately.
Yeah, that was a problem too, that the X-Wings wouldn't stay open sometimes. You had to fool around with it.
So these were cool. So they had the light up
the light up thing. And does it make the whirring sound?
This one does. I've taken the batteries out because I keep it in the box. And I love these. There's also for the main thing I got was the land speeder.
I got the land speeder,
shoulder, which is the Toll Toys version because we're in Australia. In Australia, Toll Toys was the distributor for a lot of the early Star Wars things. In the UK, it's Palitoy. Obviously, in America and everywhere else, it's Kenner. So I've actually got some Palitoy versions of the X-Wing coming from the UK, and they're a bit different. They don't have any electronics. And this is just like, that's just a sticker on the back. It's not an actual.
Oh, it's not molded, huh?
Yeah. So R2D2 of those is actually chromed. So it's a little bit different. Yeah. Oh. But they've got the light, and what a wonderful toy. Even
wasn't it? Yeah.
It's even though it's not to scale, I don't think it matters. I think it's just
no.
It's a pretty.
I'll tell you what, the first vehicle I saw that came out
TIE fighter.
Yeah, I was bugged by that it was white.
I
was like,
like
shouldn't
that
this
it
be-
was white. When they
Well-
released it for Empire, they
It was
molded it in
gray.
gray and the X-wing. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I like it in white. For some
No, you
reason.
know what though? It is in the original movie. It is white.
So and the
No,
even
the TIE fighters are white in the original movie.
even
Like
the
when they're being
die-cast
chased.
one is
Yeah,
white.
and it
so-
wasn't until the Empire Strikes Back they become gray.
Hmm.
Right? That's what I always remember.
So,
And the
so
land
you were saying
speeder-
about the vehicle that you first
yeah. The
remembered.
first one I saw was the land speeder, and it was affordable. It was only like $5 or $6 back
Yes.
then. It wasn't that expensive, and it had because I was amazed. Like, how are they going to make it float?
Yes.
And boy, were they inventive. They had that little spring action with the wheels that
Yeah,
would
and the
fold
gear
up
shift.
underneath it. Yeah, and you pop the little lever and it would pop up like it's flying. And it had the trunk in the front.
Mm-hmm.
And I would put their guns in the front, like
Yep.
because that you'd lose them. And then you could put Obi-Wan and Luke inside, and then you could lay R2 down on the back, just like the
Mhm.
movie. And they had a little peg there. And then you could put 3PO. And I used to whip that thing down the hall. We had a long hallway in my house. I used to push that land speeder back. And
I
forth,
love that
back.
toy. I love
Yeah.
that toy. You know the difference between the Australian version and the American version of the land speeder?
The land speeder goes on the other side of the street.
That's right. Correct. No. What it has, it's got the brown. I should get it out actually, but I'll just.
What's
hang
that?
on.
Uh-oh. Why Ed is going to look for the box toy. I will entertain you with sounds of Tuscan Raiders. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
All right. So hang on, let me get this out. So apart from it having the Tall Toys logo on it,
Yeah.
which is a little bit different. Let me get this out. Oh, hang on. Making a mess. Now this is a bit beat up, but the Australian version has see the detailing on the
Oh
that?
no. Yeah.
That's actually a sticker you had to put on, whereas
Oh, no,
in
ours
the
was
American one,
painted.
it's actually
Yeah.
pre-printed.
Yeah.
So-
It was painted on. Yeah. The only sticker you had to put on in mine was inside the trunk. You had to put the gear shaft, and then
Oh, yeah.
when you pop the trunk,
Yeah.
I had to put that sticker in there.
I won't
If you
do it. I
look
don't wanna-
inside.
But
it was
that
it was like
is
the engine. Yeah.
Beautiful a toy.
But isn't that something? I just got the Lego version of that last
Yes.
week. It's a big ass land speeder, and you got to put that together too. And I remember the Sears catalog being the wish book, it was called. It had so much cool stuff in it. But they started showing what was coming out next year. The wish book would come out in early September. I honestly can tell you days of my cousin calling me up and saying, "Did you get the mail? Did you get the mail?" No, because the Sears Christmas catalog, aka the wish book, would be in the mail. And that was our internet. We didn't have a
Yes.
thing to go for toys. And you would see all the new action figures coming out. And then you started seeing these things. They made the aliens, they made
Yes.
Greedo and Walrus Man. And then you get the Snaggletooth. And of course, Sears, we have the famous blue Snaggletooth that's 4 inches high.
Yes. Do you have
That
one of
one.
those?
I do, but I didn't bring it out right now. I have this. This was my favorite.
Hammerhead. He
Walrus
was
Man.
awesome.
Or Hammerhead. Sorry. This is Walrus Man right there.
Yeah. In fact, I do have. This is somewhat
Greedo.
rare. Here is a
Look at that.
sealed Walrus Man in
Yeah.
a Kennebaggy
Yeah.
from the shop. From
Yeah.
the so.
But I'm going to tell you,
Yeah.
because maybe I'm of a certain age, and because these came out, I wish I was actually a year or two younger to enjoy more Star Wars, because I was at that point where I was going on 11 to 12 and something like that. So playing with toys, unlike today, was not looked upon. You had to grow up, especially my
Yes.
neighborhood. I grew up in a very blue collar, middle class, lower middle class neighborhood. And honestly, I think about it now. And the reason why I think I love Star Wars so much is because it did take you to a galaxy far, far away and away from the basically, not to swear, but a lot of the a-holes that I grew up with, the neighborhood kids that weren't going anywhere.
Mhm.
I mean, let's call a spade a spade. It was like a factory town. These people's dads worked hard, their moms worked hard, and if they were lucky, they probably get a job at the same factory. There was like 3 main factories in New Haven. You either worked for Yale University, you worked for the phone company, the Southern New England Telephone Phone Company, and maybe you got a job construction. And if you had hit one of those 3, oh, in the blue collar lottery, that was like, hitting pay dirt. That was it. You were somebody. You were going to live, eat, breathe, die, reproduce, and never leave that damn town. And now it's like a Springsteen song, but you were going to be there and you were going to work in one of those 3 major companies. That was it. You were going to work for the man. So playing with toys and, reading comic books and enjoying Star Wars, that was not really cool. Everybody slowly transitioned from the fun stuff to just becoming instantly old and angry and grumpy at a young age. I just remember being like 13 and 14. Maybe it was the times we lived in, like 1980 was like, Reagan and Russia was going to blow us up and things were a little harder edge. And then a couple years later, going to get AIDS infecting the whole world and everything changed again. But man, oh man, people were just, there wasn't so much innocent imagination going on like there is now. Nowadays, people don't grow up. Nowadays, we could talk about toys till we're 55 or in our 50s like we do now without looked upon as being weird. But late 70s, early 80s, it was a magical time for movies and rock and roll and all that. But there was also a end of the innocence, if you will. So, I mean, and abruptly, when Star Wars comes to an end in 83 with Jedi, I think that's kind of like it, the golden age. And then Transformers and G.I. Joe and He-Man, all that stuff, that all comes out in the 80s. That's second wave. But Star Wars, the toys, they were at a magical time. There was like the big 12-inch G.I. Joes were going away, the big $6 million mans, all that stuff. And then they all got transformed into these little tiny, pieces of gold here. And the ships that came with them. I don't know. I don't think if there's another toy line out there other than Star Wars that has so much like love, I mean, these aren't the best looking toys. I mean, look at them. They're only a couple points of articulation.
Five points of articulation.
That's it. But I'm telling you, these things are magical.
Yeah.
I'd rather have, every one of these things than all the hot toys and all the Gundams and all the $1,000 statues. I'd give me a $1.97, Chewbacca and a Luke Skywalker any day. I mean, there's so much fun. When I was, like I said, getting the show ready today, I was going through my box of figures. Instantly, you could remember where you were, when you bought this, who you were playing with, all your childhood friends, your mom, your dad, your grandmas, your brothers and sisters, your cousins, all this because of Star Wars. And I'm telling you, no other franchise, Star Trek, you name it, nobody's got the magic of the Star Wars figures and stuff. And these toys, are they the best selling toys of all time?
I believe so. Well, I know certainly for Kenner in the first year, they sold $100 million worth of toy Star Wars.
That's like unheard of. We're talking 70s money.
Yeah. And then in the next year, another $100 million. And then the next year, another, it was huge. And you couldn't go anywhere without seeing. I remember it, it was for people who weren't around that time. I don't think there has been a phenomenon really like it.
No.
You looked, everyone was wearing a Star Wars t-shirt. It was
everybody.
That you listen on the radio. There was Miko with the disco
theme. Yeah.
It was amazing. And we had there was, you said, jigsaw puzzles, books,
posters, calendars. I remember getting calendars of Star Wars. I have that here too, the 1978 calendar. Everything was always shiny. I'll tell you what, everything I remember of Star Wars, for some reason, all my Star Wars memories have a glossy film to them. And I just think that's the way the calendar had this glossy finish on it. Everything was like Star Wars. It's got to be shiny. It's like, here's the art of Star Wars. It's look how shiny it is,
which is quite ironic because, George Lucas pushed for that used universe where everything was grimy. And even C-3PO was,
I know, only at the very end is he sparkling when he's clean, but the whole movie is just like grungy. But
I know. So
I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
No, go ahead. And then I was going to say the Star Wars people, the toy makers, they've got to be clever because this whole idea, now it's hokey, the retractable lightsaber in his arm, the little tiny thing that you're pulling it out right there like that. it looks so primitive now, but man, I was like, how are they going to make a lightsaber? And you're like, oh, okay, I'll buy that for $1, or $1.97.
I think it's pretty cool. So you were saying that for the second wave, so there's the 21 backs or 20 backs, where 21 backs, where they basically brought out the Cantina aliens.
Yep.
They also had R5D4.
Oh, that's when we get Luke.
Yeah, well, Luke, X-Wing Luke. And you know what I really liked about what I really liked about the spaceships and the play sets and things like that.
What's
you
that?
Get one of these in the in it.
Oh, the little catalogs, the
and
mini
I
catalogs?
would pour over these things where you go, and I remember seeing this going, oh my gosh, large size action figures.
Oh, the 12-inch. Yeah,
So
the 11, 12 inches. Yeah.
Thanks to my sister, this is my boxed
Wow.
Obi-Wan.
Is this lightsaber yellow?
It is.
What's up with that?
Well, it's just, well, why was Luke's yellow in the original? The original figures. My sister got me, I remember it must have been my 8th birthday. She got me Luke Skywalker, the 12-inch Luke Skywalker for Christmas. And luckily I've got the whole collection up here. I'll put a photo up of my collection now.
It's my Vader. And it's so funny. I was just listening to I dropped him on the floor, and he doesn't have his cape or anything, but inside here, it's still wedged in there. There's a toothpick that I colored red.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I did that
marker
with some of them as well. Yeah.
To replace his lightsaber. And the toothpick is still stuck up in there right there. So this is a 44-year-old toothpick that's stuck inside my Darth Vader. Look at that.
So they came up, with more figures. Of course, the one I never got as a kid because it was too expensive. Oh, Power Droid was the Millennium Falcon. Because that was too expensive for our family.
I never had it either. I always wanted it.
So but I did get the re-release.
I was going to say that's the re-release one back there. My kids played with it. So, I mean, but it was the same mold though.
Yes.
It was, in fact, it even had the original Kenner name on the mold too, which I was like, they didn't even bother.
Yeah, when they re-released them in '95, they did the TIE Fighter, X-Wing, Land Speeder. They were all the same sculpts with a few tweaks here and there in different plastics and a bit more, dirt added, fake dirt and things like that. But that they were huge sellers. They did the one I've been trying to get for ages, which is the oh my gosh, the transport, the Imperial transport.
That
you could get where it had a record built in where it would play sounds of the.
It did not.
Yeah.
It had a sound chip in it?
No, it wasn't a sound chip. It was a record.
Well, no, really? Let me see that.
So
I remember the ship, and they just re-released it actually.
Yeah, so
in a vintage box, the Mandalorian
laser guns and voices. So it was essentially, like those drawstring.
Yeah, those little final things. Record. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. I didn't know it had a sound thing inside.
Yeah, so they re-released it for Empire, where they removed the sound element of it. So
to this day, I just learned something new. I never knew there was a sound thing in it. Really? Have you ever seen it? Have you never?
I've seen it in shops and things like that, but look, like all these things. I mean, if you look this, especially like this Tall Toys one, it goes for $300 or $400. Okay, because it's got Tall Toys on it. A lot of the box things. My Electronic Battle Command. They brought out 2 video games. One was sort of like a reaction timer, like Death Star battle.
Yeah.
And this one, I remember seeing. My mum would go to Treasure which is like a haberdashery store, and I'd go, I'd always feel like I get a headache in that place. I don't know what it was. All that material smell or something.
Yeah, I hear
so
you.
she'd go off and do what she needed. And she goes, you go buy the toys, have a look at the toys. And I was there, and they had a little toy section and no Star Wars stuff, but they had this, which was really weird because it was that was like $100 game.
I was going to say that wasn't cheap. Is it now where I was the commercial, and then maybe that's the same game. It's just a bunch of lights, like a bunch of little lights coming at you. And it had a little display, and
it's a grid. You had to play. You could go into hyperspace, and you had to. It's a bit like Battleship, I guess.
Is. But the thing of it is, the commercial showed you playing, and at the end of it, it says you'll defeat the Empire, and then the other kids playing suddenly has a stormtrooper helmet on. You're like, oh, and that was the commercial. But the game itself did not even, I'm sorry, but back even in the 70s, it looked kind of lame. It was just a bunch of little red flashing lights.
I know, but I thought that was kind of cool. And it was like a computer, computers were
It
still
wasn't
new.
like a computer. No, I hear you. I had the Battlestar Galactica game that I looked at. It was just a bunch of red little lights coming through, and you'd shoot a little dot. And that was supposed to be the Cylons, and you were supposed to be a Colonial Viper, but you were literally red little LED lights on a screen about that big. So.
That's right. Well, it's the same sort of deal. So
sore. Yeah.
So I remember, those. I've got the remote control R2D.
Well, we had this.
Oh yes, I've got a few of those. Oh, upside down. And it doesn't matter.
You're in Australia, so it's right side up.
Yeah.
So now in this one here, I have my original, but my original is shot. This was given to me by my friend Scott Martin. I can't believe how good a condition it is.
Well,
I mean, this is a vintage thing here.
I've got one over there sealed from 1977.
Oh, look at you, Mr. Fancy Spancy.
But
again, the board game is out, and and as we said before, I have a lunchbox. It's one of my favorite things that was given to me with the thermos, because we always talk about, did they have a lunchbox? Yes. Of course, Star Wars had a lunchbox, and it's got, I can't find it today, but it's got two great images. It's got the X-Wing fight and the TIE fighter, and then they flip it around, and it's got the stormtroopers stopping Obi-Wan.
Yeah, with the land speeder. That's right.
And Mos Eisley. Yeah, looking for those droids. But did you ever get the remote control R2D2?
I've got it right there behind me.
Oh, look at you.
In the box. But they also brought out two other remote control vehicles. They brought out the sand crawler, which goes for
stupid money.
Oh, it's ridiculous. It's really nice. It's a large
It
toy.
is nice.
And they also brought out a sonic controlled land speeder where basically, if you don't know, a sonic controlled remote control was basically, it didn't have you couldn't go left, right, or whatever. It would have a clicker, and every time you click, it would hear it and it would move to change direction. So I had an
Is that how it works?
Yeah. So I don't know if is it in this catalog, the sonic controlled
control.
No, but that's the one I was looking at. The and the play sets were really cool too that they had brought out.
Oh, the Droid Factory.
Yeah, I've got the Droid Factory behind me there. And the other one, which I love, was the Han Solo blaster.
I have that. I have that.
And I always wanted the Stormtrooper blaster because the original one came out in the 3. It could
with the
hilt
that moves back. Yeah.
So
no, I've got the Han Solo blaster, but mine's an Empire one. It has a little Empire Strikes Back sticker on it.
Oh yeah, I've got mine.
And I fixed it. I bought it at a garage sale for $1 and it didn't work, but I took it apart and put a battery in it and fixed the little whirring thing, and now
so they re-released that for Empire and also for Jedi. I got my
I never got, you know which one I thought was the lamest toy?
I got my Jedi one. That's the Jedi.
That looks like my Han one. Yeah.
So.
And then I got this. Look. Yay.
Oh, that's Empire. We're going into Empire Strikes Back territory. That's
all right. I violated the rules. Now listen.
No, but that's okay.
Listen. The lamest thing that they came out with that I thought was going to be a lot better was the lightsabers. It was inflatable. It was stupid. It was like a flashlight, and you had to blow up the blade part, and that was supposed to be the toy. And I think it made a whirring sound. They have that, and then there were plastic ones.
Yeah, I think they brought out the plastic ones for Empire, which were solid.
Oh, okay.
And when you move them through the air, they would. But I really liked those inflatable ones. Those things go for a lot of money today.
Well, because they're all broken. Every kid probably popped them, you know?
And I've got I don't have it here, but I've got my Chewbacca bop bag, which was basically
I was gonna say that's the other thing, a punching bag.
Yeah, so I've still got Chewie. And I remember when I was at uni, when I got my driver's license, I'd have him inflated, and he'd be in the co-pilot while I was driving around.
Oh no!
Yeah, I was single for.
I think there were, if I recall, I think there was a Darth Vader one.
There was Darth Vader, R2D2, and Chewbacca. So I got the Chewie one, which was really cool.
I remember the Vader one.
And look, there's so many. We haven't even spoken about the trading cards.
Oh no,
A lot of people's first introduction was, like the novelization.
Oh, I have the novel. Yeah, mine's got a golden cover on it. I still got my original one over there.
I've collected a lot of these. So they had a lot of variation, young readers. Then,
because I too have a shelf of different variations of the Star Wars thing. I've bought the novelization. I've got the comic book, obviously, which is up there from Marvel Comics, but they did a little tiny paperback. I got that big little book, an illustrated version of it from Japan. I have a manga that you got to read backwards. I have a lot of different versions of Star Wars.
They did. I'm just trying to see if I've got it. Oh, this was always great.
What?
The Star Wars pop-up book.
Oh, I don't think I have that. No.
Which I love is have a look at that. It's so cool.
Yeah.
With, I'll see if there's this one's a little worse. This one's a little worse for wear, but I liked how they used sort of like the Macquarie style, artwork on it. So
that's what I didn't bring out tonight.
What?
For some reason I bought them. Because again, there wasn't many Star Wars things out. There was, like I said, the books. And I remember going to the movies. I still have my program I bought for $1.50.
Yes.
It's this long book that has the cast and crew notes, and it's got some pictures on it. But I did pick up the Star Wars blueprints.
Oh, yes.
Which I still have. And it's really like, even back then I thought it was dumb, but I was so desperate to get anything with Star Wars. I finally broke down and bought them because there was nothing else to buy. And all it is the construction blueprints for the Sandcrawler, for the Death Star hangar bay, and the cantina and the reactor where Obi-Wan turns off the tractor beam.
Yes,
they're just blueprints. They're literally construction. If you were a carpenter or somebody, you'd probably say, okay, now I know how to build this. But to a kid,
you were poring over that sort of information.
I know you were looking for anything like, close-ups of the lightsabers, and you want to see how they worked. And that's why nowadays they have those, the art of books, which I still collect, like art of the Mandalorian, art of this, art of that. And it's got all those beautiful pre-production cells. But back in the day,
the Star Wars portfolio.
I had that
with the artwork, and I was just gonna say this is the Star Wars coloring in book.
Oh, I've got a Luke Skywalker activity book somewhere.
So there's one of those, but I just wanted to.
It's funny. I was just saying, when there's not a lot to see, I realized inside my story of Star Wars, I still have it's a little beat up. But look, this is the
the booklet. I love that
booklet. But yeah, these are the pictures. In fact, the Wonder Bread, which is horrible bread, had trading cards. They look like this. I still have those. But the thing is, the grease from the bread would stain the cards. So you'd get these images, but there'd be like little bread stains on them. It's so funny. You could see where they like airbrushed like the engines and stuff like that,
and the lasers and things.
And the laser.
I love that shot of R2 being hit by the Jawas ray, because it just looks so real.
Well, now I'm going to say the biggest airbrush that's not in here is the famous X-wing chasing after the TIE fighter.
Yes,
and you can see that they painted on the streaks and stuff like that. But look at this. Here's why I never throw anything away. My wife's going to be like, "Why do I have all this stuff?" Inside, I just noticed. Inside my album, I still have this.
Oh, that's cool.
It's to mail away for your Star Wars t-shirt that says, "May the Force be with you" on the back and Star Wars on the front. You send it to, I wonder if it can still get it if I send away for it. It is exactly $5 for the adult size.
Wow.
Children's size $4.50, and black t-shirt only. Can you see that?
That'd be kind of cool.
Right?
Again, we were saying Star Wars was everywhere. People wearing it. Here's a magazine that I picked up. This is Electronics Today, and have a look at this, Mitch, on Electronics Today from December, where it had
are those toys or those are stormtroopers?
No, they're stormtroopers, because inside it's actually got how to you can practically have a look at this, Mitch. You can practically make It shows inside all the robots. See how it's
Oh, see, I never saw that.
yeah.
See, now you'd have all those books by the late great
J.W. Rinsler.
yeah, I was just putting this back. J.W. Rinsler, he went over all the Lucasfilm archives and he got all that stuff. But man, oh man, look at this. Talk about going through past. My 45 of Steve Martin's King Tut just fell out.
Oh
This
my
is
gosh.
like I'm going through time right now.
You are going through time. Well,
Yeah,
and
that's tough.
lastly, you know, I suppose as we build up to, you know, the release of The Empire Strikes Back in 1980, so they re-released Star Wars. Not that it ever really left the cinemas. I suppose the most famous toy between that and the release of Empire Strikes Back was.
Oh, don't do it.
I'll
This little
grab
guy.
him- I'll grab him over here. Was Boba Fett.
There he is.
I'll take him out of the.
There's my mail away. Look, kids. Look. He's got the missile that's been glued shut in there.
Yep.
Never, ever was there a rocket firing one. Sorry, kiddies.
Except for this one.
Except for the, yeah, but that's not the original one.
No,
Yeah.
this is from 2004 or something like that, which is
Yeah.
a re-release. So yeah, but I don't normally keep do the retro ones, but this one's kind of cool. I think with the
Yeah, it was. No, but I'm always like, I was so excited when this sucker showed up in the mail.
yes,
You don't believe it. I was like, oh my God, because I ruined all my packaging. Thank you, Kenner and General Mills, because I cut all those proof of purchase seals
Yes.
out. So I had them all in a box. So as soon as they said, hey, send 4 away to get your secret new Star Wars figure with firing backpack, Boba Fett. I ruined all those boxes. And then I had enough left over. So then I remember mailing away for Admiral Akbar, the Emperor.
there was
was it
also
Bosch?
the yeah,
Bosch,
there
I
was
think, was the
and
mail
there was
away.
also the
The
survival
accessory
kit.
kits.
the
Yes.
survival kit you could get.
I have those. It came with the backpacks, the
Yep.
little breath mask, the
Yeah. The grappling hook that I
the
saw you had
grappling
on your
hook-
Luke.
mine's still on my Luke. Yeah, I never took it off. There's a little belt. He's got his little grappling hook so he could swing.
Yep.
Yay. But again, not very, I mean, these are equivalent to something like little tiny toys that you see for like Fisher Price, you know, like
Yes.
like preschool toys. I mean, but they were so much fun. Did he come with a lightsaber or just a pistol?
Just a blaster, just his
Yeah,
like the
I
hand
think so.
blaster. And you know what? For years, I go, why didn't they paint his hair blonde? And I realized that.
Oh, you
those
didn't know that
things-
was his? Yeah, that was his visor.
Well, say why didn't they paint them orange? You know,
I
like
don't
you know, their visors are orange.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I hear you. But
Mind you,
no,
I pronounced Tatooine for years because
and then we forgot the Death
Oh,
Star.
the de-
toy.
yeah, there's some fantastic toys. There's some fantastic memories. We're surrounded about. I'm looking forward to. Hang on, I'm gonna grab my. There's my vintage Han.
Oh, that's
Who,
so
of course,
cool.
became, you know, with his medal. He came with his medal, so which is really cool.
Yeah, I've got mine right here.
Yeah,
We stole it from him. Look at that.
you stole it from Chewbacca.
I
So,
stole it from Chewie.
That's right.
No, I
um,
mean, again, and you know what? They not only do they know the audience that they're going after. Why else would they make retro versions of the Mandalorian in the vintage style? Like it even has the similar look.
Yep.
But it has that nasty sticker, but you can take it off. For some reason, this is actually, you can peel it up, but they're in the 5-point of articulation, you know, and they've done them all again. They've got Ahsoka
Yep.
and they've got, you know, Bo-Katan, whatever. But it's just fun. They know they hit a nerve
Yeah.
with that stuff.
There's
But
so
yeah,
much
no,
stuff to collect. I even
Nothing
went
will compare. I'm telling
No.
you, nothing compares
No.
to the original Star Wars. Would
I
you
forgot
like to
say,
have them
sorry, the
all?
model kits? They brought out behind me is the model kits that they brought out as well.
Oh yeah, I remember the
MPC.
snap together model kits. I
Yeah,
had the van.
they've got I've got the Millennium Falcon model kit as well, which is huge.
Wait, you talking about the MPC one?
Yep.
Yeah, I
they
had
are
that.
under-
sucker.
but
Yeah,
there-
but you
there
got to paint it though. It was such a pain to paint it. And the thing about the Falcon, it was a beat up ship. So you're like, hey, how bad could this paint job be? Because it's the Millennium Falcon. But
True.
still
That
wanna
had
make
that had electronics in it. You had
It
lights
did.
that would light up.
It did. It lit the cockpit lit up and the engines lit up too. The
Yeah,
back
and there
of
was a
the
light in the where the gun
gun
turrets
turret.
were,
Yeah.
and I think there were 2 lights in the front. So
Oh, okay. I don't remember that part, but boy,
Yeah.
oh boy, it was hard to do. I remember I did the X-wing. I had Darth Vader's TIE fighter,
yep,
the
there it is.
NPC model
Yeah,
kit.
there it is there behind me. Yep.
But you know what the problem was painting it is it had a grid. So
on
when
the
you put
on the
paint
solar
in-
panel things.
yeah,
Yeah.
on the solar panel. So when you put paint in, it would just soak into those little tiny grids. So you'd get like, I mean, I didn't have an airbrush. I don't know how someone would actually do this. Did they not realize these were kids at home, or they were building these for the adult collectors? I don't know who, but
I don't
it
know.
was not easy trying to put.
And
I
they
remember
even-
what?
I was just going to say, speaking of those models, there was is it Estes that made actual
Yeah.
rockets?
Oh, the rockets. Yeah, that would take off.
Yeah.
Yeah. ESTES, Estes.
Yes.
But the worst was when I built the X-wing and you had to put the stripe down the side of the nose.
Yep.
And you had to do it. You what you would do is you would cut the stickers up and you put them in warm water,
That's
and then
right.
the heat would make it adhesive. But you had to pick them up with like tweezers
Yeah.
and put them on, because as soon as it wrinkled, forget it. It was done. It was never going to fit there again. But I remember painting R2's helmet or dome and putting it inside the X-wing, and I think it had a little Luke in there too.
Yes.
But Jesus, man, I didn't have the patience. It never came out looking right. I wanted it to look like that, but still, they had the Darth Vader's TIE fighter. They had Luke's X-wing. They had a Darth Vader figure model that I did have that
Yep, with-
glowed in the dark.
The lightsaber glowed in the dark.
and
Yes.
the eyes glowed on the helmet.
So they all,
and that
yeah,
was cool.
and they had C3PO and R2D2 model kits.
They
And they
did
had-
have. Oh, I had those.
Yep.
I had the R2 and the 3PO, and the R2 had a third leg that you could.
think
if you
so.
did it
Yes.
right. Yeah.
And they also had a Darth Vader bust. So just the top
Yes.
part,
Yes.
and if
it
you
bre-
pressed
and
and
it breathed,
Yeah.
breath or whatever. Yeah, you could put batteries in it, and it would do that. I remember that. I didn't have that. I do remember seeing that.
Yeah.
The Darth Vader. You know what I did have? I could remember walking back home 4 miles with my grandmother from the Kresge's. It was a Star Wars poster set that came with markers that you colored in the thing, but it had a Darth Vader helmet that was made out of paper that you put together and you would mount onto the poster, so it had this 3D element to it. It was so cool. And I remember building the Darth Vader. You had to take the strips and you put the slot A in the slot B, and then you colored the posters in. I was really good at that. And it was actually really cool artwork.
Well, I
But-
remember getting
Poster art.
Yeah, I remember I had a Star Wars party. In fact, these are from my original Star Wars birthday party.
Yep. Yep.
There's the tablecloth, and I've forgotten. Oh, I've sealed it up. But the birthday cards that I
Oh, look
got
at
and
you.
everything like that.
Yeah.
But I remember getting that exact same. I got 2 because kids bring you a birthday party.
Yeah, you get
presents, but
duplicates.
The color in where they had the
Yeah,
poster.
yeah. The poster art. Yeah.
And then I also had a separate book, which I don't think I've got it here at the moment, but it's you pop out things and you'd make a lightsaber, you'd make C3PO, you'd make an
okay.
X-Wing, sort of like paper craft sort of thing.
Yeah, right.
And
right.
who can forget? Well, this.
We
which
got- Is that a poster?
No, it's the Star Wars
kite?
wallpaper.
Oh, I didn't have that. No.
Didn't you? This is Star Wars wallpaper. So, yeah. Hang on,
You know
I'll-
what? You reminded me. I didn't go get it tonight, but I remember Procter and Gamble. They make soap detergent and laundry detergent and
Yes.
dishwashing liquid. I remember going to get those. If you bought them, they had a box of posters. This is how crazy it was. This is how crazy Star Wars was. You'd go to the grocery store and your mom would buy like borax or Ajax, something to clean the house with, or
Mhm.
Comet. And they would have, if you buy this, you could pick a Star Wars poster.
Yep.
And there was 4 Star Wars posters. And the artwork was not like Ralph McQuarrie or Amzell or anything really good. It was kind of cheesy artwork, but it was Star Wars. And you could pick 4 different images. And I remember one of them was Obi-Wan Kenobi fighting Darth Vader, and I still have that. But it came with a box of soap detergent, like Ajax or something. I just remember my mom buying it, and she said, "Okay, now pick which poster you want," and there'd be an end cap, like, buy Ajax, get a Star Wars poster for free. And I remember picking the Obi-Wan Kenobi one out. Oh, we didn't even go on about the glasses. I have those.
I've got the, well, again, and we've spoken.
Set.
I think
I know we're just going to keep on toys. Yeah,
that's okay. Well, it's all collectibles, I suppose.
It's
the
all
Australian
Wars,
ones are different to the American
Burger
ones.
Chef,
I've got the full set, and like the posters, I've got a complete set. They're a bit different. They're Coca-Cola ones. A little bit different to. There's so like.
I know there's so many. Yeah, I know
so
we can go on
things.
for hours. Yeah. The last thing I want to bring up and see if you can find a picture of it. Again, this is so crazy. A box of soap detergent, and inside the box there was a Star Wars towel. You got to remember, we're talking a box is like half full of detergent, and inside of it they had put a cloth towel that must have taken up half of the volume of the box, so there wasn't much detergent. But I remember pulling out an Obi-Wan Kenobi towel. It was maybe like a dish towel, not very large, not like a beach towel.
Yeah.
But those were inside select boxes. I have to go find them on the internet and see if they're still there. But I don't know if anybody has a complete set of those dish towels that came inside detergent boxes. But again, there was back of cereals and back of the Frankenberry and Count Chocula cereals. There were cutouts of like little Star Wars spaceships you could make and put a straw on them and put a string in it, and you could shoot them back and forth and make it look like they were flying.
Oh, cool.
Oh, there was so much Star Wars stuff out there. But besides that, we just talked about toys. I know, and it was 78.
No, that's okay. I mean, they
so
to me,
much. Yeah.
To me, when I think about Star Wars collecting or toys, I think I bundle all those things together because, they're all part of that amazing experience, though.
It really was. There's nothing I can compare to. I mean, E.T. was big when it came out and it became #1, but it was nothing like Star Wars. There was no toy lines with it. And I mean, like I said, He-Man and all that stuff replaced Star Wars collecting in the 80s and stuff, and the Transformers and the G.I. Joes, all that took away from it. And Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, obviously. Yeah. But there's nothing like Star Wars. Nothing.
So if you you can always find stuff at on eBay, if you want to get into collecting. Unfortunately, it's tough to get into,
It is. I remember
you can get some cheap loose figures or things like
that.
No,
you can always buy these guys loose. Yeah.
Is getting it's getting quite expensive. So
you know what? I'll tell you what, and just before we sign off, the collector community, I love the guys out there. I know a lot of them from Terrificon. They come to my show. I meet a lot of them out there. I've met them over the years. I've gone to Steve Sansweet's place.
Yes. I've been to Rancho. It's
Rancho
amazing.
Obi-Wan. And I know all the guys that collect it, Gus Lopez and all those guys we talk over the years, and the Star Wars fan clubs and the Force cast and the Indie cast. We met all these guys. But I got to tell you, there's the true fan groups, and then there's you don't know enough, and then they kind of look down upon it. It's kind of sad because I know one guy is a fantastic guy. He just collects all the Star Wars international bootlegs, and he's got a huge collection of that. Now I know the guy that just collects all Darth Vader, and another guy that collects this. There's so many sub pockets to it. It's really great that it's so big and vast that you could do that. But there is this like snottiness that comes around that they look down upon other fans like, well, this is not,
you're using reproduction weapon. They're reproduction weapons. Oh my gosh, then that's
God, no oh no, I don't look at reproduction weapons. As long as, like I said, I had more fun going through the box of these things tonight. And it's, they're toys. They were meant to be played with. Of course, I'd like to have a mint version. I'd like to have a version of Spider-Man #1 9.8, but I don't. I have a 2.5 version. It's mine and I like it, and that's it. Yeah. So you don't have to have the perfect toy. You don't have to have all of them. They don't have to be mint in box. It's just, if you want to go out, like you said, you can find these loose, and they're fun to have. They're fun to decorate, and they're fun to play on your computer when no one's looking. You can pretend to be a kid again. But yeah, some of these guys are just so full of themselves they've taken the joy out of collecting. So
Yeah.
much so I don't even want to be in the room with them. It's like, yeah, okay, you're right. This is not a vintage, not C9 or whatever the hell rating system they use. It's like, get over it, guys. It's just a bunch of toys that sold for $1.97 that were meant to be blown up and burnt and melted and played with. And it was
and
fun.
have fun. There's room for everyone, those high-end collectors or those casual collectors who just have a few choice things. But what I think everyone enjoys about them is that it gives you, he's from the holiday special, remember? He's actually from the holiday special. Is that it makes you smile when you look through all this stuff. Absolutely. So hopefully we helped make you feel a little bit like a kid again watching this. If you want to see some of our other specials, we go back, actually, one of our earlier episodes, I'll see if I can put a slide up, is about our favorite collectibles, vintage collectibles from
our movie poster one's good too. We did a whole show about movie posters.
Yeah, that's true. So there's lots to look back on. So Mitch, how can you find out more about us and what to watch?
Oh, and it is easy as firing a proton torpedo at a ray shield exhaust port that's only 3 meters wide.
That's impossible. That's impossible.
Nothing's impossible. I bullseye womp rats in my T16 back home, and they're no bigger than 3 meters. You just hit. So sad that we could have become doctors and lawyers and found the cure for cancer and all these other things. But no, we've devoted ourselves to keeping the Kessel Run less than, say it, how many parsecs?
Oh my God. Now I'm under that.
Oh my God.
12, isn't it 12 parsecs?
12. Yes.
I said 12.
I know, but you round down.
Okay.
All you do is hit the subscribe button. So you and me and Ed and Chewy and everybody else can go on a trip to the past on Mitch and Ed's Excellent Adventure. And do yourself a favor, subscribe so we don't have to come to your house and wake you up in the middle of the night to tell you there's a new show. You'll know automatically. And hit the like button because it makes us feel good. And watch these shows to the end. Even if you have to go to the bathroom or do your taxes or cut the lawn, just let it play in the background like music. And it makes our ratings, and other people can find us that like talking about this stuff. So
and hopefully you'll have a bit of fun and learn something as
Happy
well.
Star Wars Day. I don't call May 4th Star Wars Day. To me, Star Wars Day is May 25th.
May 25th,
I don't know when it opened down in the land of Oz, but
it was a little bit later on, but we still, May 25th is the day,
it's Star Wars Day.
Yeah, it's Star Wars Day. Every day is Star Wars Day.
Every day Star Wars Day.
That's right. Well, that's it. So thanks for watching so much. We'll see you again soon. This is Ed Dollister.
And this is Mitch Lord Vader Halleck. I always thought his first name was Darth, by the way,
really?
when I was a kid.
God.
Right. I didn't know that was a title until years later. I was like, oh.
Yeah,
well, that was his first name.
I know. As a kid, you don't realize. I thought when I first saw Star Wars, I thought he was a robot. As a kid.
You? Wow.
Because I didn't. Anyway, what would I know? Anyway, see everyone. Take care, and we look forward to seeing you next episode.